Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
All summer in number 10 behind me, the Prime Minister and his Chief Advisor Dominic Cummings laid the groundwork for an early election to fix their version of Brexit. Both know how crucial targeted online adverts will be in that campaign, just as they were in the referendum in 2016 and in Donald Trump's presidential election. But how robust are the rules governing the tech giants like Facebook? Last year, this programme, along with the Observer newspaper, reported on how political consultancy firm Cambridge Analytica had acquired the Facebook data of 83 million users, a scandal that forced the Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to apologise to Congress. One man who worked closely with Zuckerberg at Facebook started out as, when Mark Zuckerberg started out, as Roger McNamee. He now profoundly disagrees with how the company is run. And I spoke to him earlier about data, democracy, and dirty tricks, and began by asking him when he stopped being a Facebook true believer.
I believed in Facebook as a force for good, and there was no reason why it should ever have come off of the good path, because it had not occurred to me that a platform that brought people together could also be used to drive them apart. When I first observed issues which were in the context of the US presidential election in 2016, what I saw were Facebook groups that claimed to be associated with Bernie Sanders that were distributing essentially hate speech. They were images of Hillary Clinton depicting her in totally inappropriate ways, ways that no campaign would associate itself with, or at least I didn't think would associate itself with at that time.
But they were bad people who'd hijacked a good entity.
And then, of course, Brexit in June of 2016. That was the first time I realized, oh my gosh, the same advertising tools that allow Procter & Gamble and other companies to sell so successfully, when applied to an election, can be used in really dangerous and anti-democratic ways. And then reached out to Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg in October of 2016 to say, I was convinced that the business model and algorithms of Facebook were structurally flawed in a way that allowed bad people to harm innocent people. I believe that through the 2016 elections, both Brexit and the United States, that they were unconscious of the ways their products were being used. Where I fault them is that when evidence came to light that proved conclusively that bad actors had used the product to distort elections, to harm civil rights, to cause all kinds of other problems, to invade privacy, their first reaction was not to solve the problem, but rather to deny, to deflect, and to essentially use public relations as an alternative to solving the underlying problem. And that makes me incredibly sad.
When we exposed the Cambridge Analytica issue, we got exactly the same response.
Precisely the same response. The Cambridge Analytica story combined not only the threat to democracy, but the gross violations of people's personal privacy.
Zuckerberg was called for by the House of Commons to attend and give evidence. He refused.
And I wish that...
Is that the point at which we say, look, that's the point at which Facebook was not prepared to face up to the realities of the bad things that it was facilitating?
And I would argue that the correct response there would have been to say, fine, we will shut you down in the United Kingdom until you come and testify.
If you look at our constitutional crisis at the moment, the whole system is creaking. You've got judges involved.
Same thing in the United States.
Got Commons prorogued. The thing is in real tension. And now you're saying, amid all this, the government of the day has to shut down Facebook and sort this out.
Well, to be clear, the issues you're dealing with constitutionally are enabled by platforms like Facebook. And in fact, almost all...
You mean you're tracking us back to the point at which Brexit was ever even tested?
And I would point to worse than that. I think the biggest barrier to doing something about climate change is that Internet platforms allow climate change deniers to have disproportionate political influence. These products are about holding our attention. And for most of us, the things that hold our attention best are posts that trigger flight or fight. And what are those? Hate speech, disinformation, and conspiracy theories. These are not a byproduct of the business model.
But
they are the business model.
if your one-time friend, Mark Zuckerberg, were sitting here, what would you say he had to do right now to guard against the destruction of democracy?
He could solve all the problems, the privacy problems, the democracy problems, and the public health problems, by recognizing that the business model of converting people's lives into data and then using that to manipulate their behavior, that's just morally wrong.
What would it cost him to do it?
Oh, it would cost Facebook a lot, earnings-wise.
They have a lot.
But they have a lot. And importantly, what does Mark have to lose? He could be the hero in his own story.
But you know better than I that this flies in the face of their, you can't censor, you can't interfere with.
So I don't want to censor them. What I want to do is to change the way their algorithms work. This isn't about denying freedom of speech. It's about denying amplification for hate speech, disinformation, and conspiracy theories. I don't call it censorship because censorship is denying the right to speak. And in this case, I'm denying the right to amplify the unpleasant stuff. And I'm saying that we as human beings are entitled to control our digital selves.
Roger McNamee, thank you very much for talking to us.
John, what a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much.
And of course, another person who wasn't prepared to talk to MPs and give evidence was Dominic Cummings.